War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Unless you've already won and it means you can test out whatever you want with no consequences. So today I am going to look at some 4-1 strategies. A lot of people just say, I always go 4-1. But from my perspective, there's a lot of different things you can do in a 4-1 team. So depending on what hits I have available, I might have to do a couple of these cleanups. But I'm going to try some different 4-1 teams. So whilst it's easy to say I do 4-1, again, it's understanding that within that 4-1, there are different strategies which then result in different board play, in my opinion, because of course it's me talking, that will then maximize that strategy of using 4-1. Hope that makes sense. Without further ado, greetings, loyal minions, traitorous fiends, friends and haters, beautiful humans. Welcome back to the SciShow, the #1 ranked YouTube channel for people who understand that it's okay to disagree with someone. You don't have to have drama, you don't have to argue. It's okay to disagree and move on. If that's you, I appreciate you. If that's not you, let's argue about it and have a few weeks of drama and see who wins. So this is a 4-1 team. However, within that 4, you can have a varying degree of attackers and healers, etc. So this 4-1 team is designed to counter the enemy team to a degree. So they have like some burn there. They have some buffs here. He does his silence or whatever it is. So I've got multiple cleansers. And whilst it is a 4-1 team, so you're looking for tile damage, it's set up to probably be a bit longer battle than taking a 4-1 against a tank as an example, which I possibly should have done here. There's some nice greens. But yeah, it's designed to sort of counter things, get the battle on your own terms, and then be able to take them out. I've got Chang'e and Cosmic. They both either stop the enemies casting buffs, etc., or can do continuous buff, dispel, and cleanse. And old Hrothgar, who, he can minus or turn around the negative mana. So it depends on when they fire. You never know if they're all going to fire at the same time, even if you take the same speed. You may get some mana degen on one of them and they may not fire. So it's based around getting that, having a bit longer battle. I don't mind setting their semi-passive tank off. But anyway, let's go. And I've also got Sharla's, he also cleanses. So it's just a cleanse in an off color. He also heals, which is a nice little bonus. So we've now, it also does have the advantage of having 2 reds, so the blues are a strong color against those. So I can see now that I've got my 3 blue matches. I may be able to get the kill straight up, but otherwise we're going to try and counter what they do If you don't need to, you don't need to. That's fine. So we can see here instantly he's got now buffs. I could Cosmic Speaker will take a turn or two to get rid of those. Hrothgar is going to get rid of any mana generation. So from here, it's then blocking their skills. As an example, Dagger is going to fire. If this was a team of 4 huge attackers, I could possibly just kill them all. But that's the difference in having the different strategies within the 4-1. So we'll now hit with what we can. Not really, he does give an attack buff, so I'll go with him first. They do have some dodges up, but we'll see what happens. So again, this is where if I had 1 extra attacker, I could possibly get 2 kills. But that's not the style of this particular battle. And again, that comes down to who you've got in your roster. You may not have 4 really big hitters. So you've got to match, even though it's 4-1, you're still matching that play style to what you've got in your roster and what you're coming up against. I am going to take the heal now because I need it. I'll get some mana generation out of that. There's no sort of follow-up damages that's going to happen, so it's just a matter of now resetting and seeing, I'm close to getting a yellow. I'm going to get some blue or some mana for my hero, so it's just a matter of now playing it out and knowing that I've protected against his burn because he's got the blocker on. And then, as I say, it's a lot, it's hoping, but we're just now trying to get the colours back up to manoeuvre the game where we want it. Ariel being quite old does go down pretty easy. I'm just trying to figure out why that burn went on there, even though that's because it's part of his passive. Damage bypasses. Okay. That's an interesting one. I'd not noticed that before. He has a cannot cast status effects or stacks on enemies, but his Molten Core still went off. If that was a known thing, that's interesting because I wasn't actually aware of that. Very interesting. That yellow is enough to get the kill, not quite. I'm sitting on 600 still, that seems high. The thing is, you're also not going to win every single battle. That's just the way things go. And I'm already running out of time here. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to set him off. There's just nothing to get around it. Taking this move to try and get a blue and or yellow helps me out in a couple of ways. Ouch. And that is a total failure. Hopefully we can still get at least 1 kill. So again, that's a different strategy and having a different team. If I had have had 4 straight up killers, that battle could have turned out totally different. So again, this is the fantastic thing about the fact that we've already won war. I don't need to get the points, and I can actually just test different things regardless of the outcome. I'm obviously going to try and win every single battle, but when you're testing things, it just sort of shows the different techniques you can use and how that leads to different playing of the board, etc. So as a clean, I still think it's important to put together a team that's going to do the job. Again, I'm going for 1. That's the theme. I've gone 4 blues again as I have 2 reds. That's just a little bonus. But they don't have a healer left. I mean, he heals a little bit, but no great heal. So again, I'm playing a longer game. I don't want to just take heroes that bang. If I get my tiles, or if I don't get my tiles, it doesn't matter. I'm going to set them off and die. I wouldn't generally take 4-1 for a clean, to be honest. But I've got a couple of healers here to make sure that I can stretch it out if I need to, especially with the ghosting lane. You know, you would like to think that you would at some point get the colours you need. And this is where you can see the blues aren't really coming, so the fact I've got a heal up my sleeve is probably going to prove quite useful if I do need to take some damage from anyone. Hopefully he won't kill anyone. He might. It'll probably be famous last words. You'll probably kill her with 1 hit, although I am getting the minion. Of course, he goes straight for the weakest one, and oh, that was very bloody lucky. It's crazy how these older heroes just, they look like they've got a nice lot of HP, but can't really take the hit. Now we can see we can get some kills. And it may seem like it's already over, but again, you just can't take anything for granted in these times. So I'll take the heal. I won't use Cedo just yet. I'll wait for this dude to respawn. Then I can get a hit on him as well. But again, I've now got the cleanse up, which will hopefully get rid of his crap once he gives it to me. So you can see again with a bad board, that could have went terribly poorly, even though it seems like a clean and it's a reasonably easy enough sort of thing to do. So cleans these days aren't always that easy, and you still need to be prepared for getting a bad board and possibly things not going the exact way you wanted them to. This is where having the dual healers means I've been able to take a hit, heal up, and now that even though I've got some nasty things on me, I would hopefully be able to at least get rid of a couple now and then eke out, waiting for the silence to go, even though that bloody burn does a lot of damage. And she's going to survive. 2 turns left. Maybe just if she doesn't take a hit. Or she takes some extra damage. On to the next. So this 4-1 is actually set up around the 1. Again, this is where assessing the enemy, assessing your own teams and figuring out which heroes you've got. So yes, I've got 4 that goes against the tank. So that's handy for tile damage. But the 1 is Omen. So they don't have any healers. So just making sure. So, you know, the idea is if I get Omen to fire off a minion, those minions are going to spread the Fiend, they're going to get Insanity, and it will all work out. Again, I wouldn't generally take a 4-1 team with Omen. I might take a 3-1-1 to give me different colours of healing, because really if I just keep him alive, sooner or later it's going to be game over. I do have a Reviver for that particular reason, who also heals. But yeah, the 4 matches against the purple, and it's just based around also being able to kill it if I need to from that perspective. Just trying to group my reds together, obviously. This is again where I could take a cascade of this green down, which would give me reds, but it leaves my other reds a bit messed up. So I will take these reds, make the green diamond, knowing that I can afford to sort of set him off. He's not going to kill me with 1 shot, hopefully. And trying to clear the board. don't want to put too many tiles into him because I don't want him to take the taunt, although the taunt doesn't matter too much because the Fiend will still spread. But I'd rather put the Fiend in the middle. Now, I can see that if I take that one down, it's only going to put one tile into him, but it's going to ruin my other match. So I'll make this match first. That's right, I got more reds in anyway, so I can make those reds without too much damage. The hit is actually going to kill him, I would imagine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this dude first. I don't care that there's a counterattack. I can see that I've got a heal up shortly and a revive if I need it. So I'll hit him, get the Fiend on, and get that Fiend spreading. And then we'll go on with our lives. It was designed to, as I said, I've got the heal there, but also Hilda gives me some healing as well. So again, it's just if things didn't go my way and I need to play this out longer, not only do I get one heal from Astrid, but I also get the follow-up heal from Hilda. So I'm not going to fire the heroes at the moment. I'm just going to let this play out. I think I can take both of these hits. Look, we won't risk it. We'll take the heal. It just means that I've got Hilda now that once I take a bit more damage, I can fire her off if needed and then get a bit more healing through her follow-up skill. But as we can see, those Fiends are already spreading and multiplying, and sooner or later they are going to reverse. Yes, I could fire my heroes off, but we're just going to play through this. I can kill the dude in the middle now, Oberkin. Those Fiends, as I said, they're just going to keep spreading now that they're already up. And it's just, again, it's playing to your strategy, understanding what you're trying to do. Again, a 4-1 team, it can be very lazy sometimes. Like, oh, I'm just going to take 4 heroes against the main tank and not worry about anything else. But in this case, it's all about the one. Oh no, this is dragging out a bit. I'll probably fast forward this or something and make myself sound stupid with talking at double speed. I'll now start to finish it off for us. Get some healing bang. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense as to another different way you can use 4-1. So it's just, again, just trying to show that not all 4-1s are the same. I'd rather go 2-1 personally. 4 is probably a few too many to try and satisfy at the same time. I have no idea why I said that. I do feel sometimes when there's a bit of a gap that we just end up saying random stuff. So I try to stay away from that. But finish this off. Okay. On the next one, if you do have any particular strategy you want me to delve into a bit further, I'm more than happy to. Doesn't matter whether it's mono, 3-1, 1-3-2, whatever. If you want to see different ways I personally can play each style, let me know and we'll see what we can do. All right, this 4-1 team is mostly set up around killing 3 of the enemy. There's not much countering. There is a little bit. I mean, Salamata has the passive, which means the dancers don't last. I've got Sludgus as the 1 to provide some protection against him, hopefully. But it's really based around having the hitters to know that they don't have any boosted health, a tiny little bit, from Hathor, but not a great deal of boosted. So it's around the fact if I get my heroes charged, I don't need to care about countering because I'm just going to kill them. This to me is a little more risky. It's not my usual play style, but it's what some people do. You could be matching your heroes based on speed, so it's great if you've got all hit 3 fast, or if you've got hit alls, you may be able to kill the whole team. But that's what it's based around. You know, you've got defense down. She gives then an attack boost, and then I've just put some big hitters next to them. This is where I mentioned in a recent hero review that sometimes the follow-up skills, we can look at them and think they're really useful, but in a lot of cases they may not be. So as an example, Salamata has a great thing where she gives minion wound for 3 turns. So target's minions' health is reduced by 50% and Mega Minions' health is reduced by 25% each turn. So that sounds like a great skill. We know there's a lot of Mega Minions. There's none in this particular team. The problem is, if you've got her in a stack of 4 reds, so say you're using her in a stack of 4, the Mega Minion damage generally isn't going to even come into play because, now occasionally, look, you know, the team may have 3 full minions or whatever it may be, but if I hit with her first, it reduces, because she's reducing the Mega Minion damage the health each turn. If I hit with her first, I'm then going to follow up with hits from these other ones, and it's going to kill the Mega Minion anyway. So therefore, her follow-up skill is basically pointless. If I hit with these other ones first, then it's going to kill the Mega Minion, so her follow-up skill is also useless. So I hope that makes sense. That to me is where a hero such as Salamata may actually work better not in a stack of other reds, if that's why you're using her. If you're using her for the damage and for the dispel, that's great. But if you're using her to try and help against those Mega Minions, it's understanding that some of these follow-up skills may not actually come into play in the battle if you put them in with other certain team members. Hopefully I'm not rambling too much. I probably am. It's a crap board. I'm a bit scared to play it. Again, I could take the red match here. I think I'm going to take the Cascade to try and get rid of a few more tiles and also give me some reds. Worked to a degree. I can get some yellows over there. I just really need that extra red. Take this one. And this is again where I feel that some sort of counter is probably helpful. If you can put your counter in your stack, that's amazing, because once this guy goes off, at least it's only going to last 1 turn. But that's why I generally prefer to have the sort of counter style where I've got heroes that are countering, regardless of whether I've got a 4 stack and it's against the tank's color or a different color. I like to try and counter certain skills, as I believe it does give me a bit better chance with the way I play. Having said that, if you don't get any colors, it doesn't really matter. Now she's going to heal, which is annoying. Hopefully, even though she's not going to do any damage, she actually heals them, which is unfortunate. It's seeing if I had those 4, it's knowing that I'd be able to actually get the kills, in which case I probably won't. Should have actually shot her first because she does have the debuff, the dispel, which I forgot about, so that's okay. Now it's looking pretty much crap. You can see there, if I did have that extra hit and I didn't heal them first, I would have probably killed all 3 of those middle. That's how that strategy plays out. Now we just need the strategy of crossing the fingers and hoping that something good happens. A couple of heals coming up for them, and I'm running out of time already because I talk too much. It's kind of my best bet is I can see there's enough tiles to get Sludges up, so I really need to do that and try to reset. Ouchies. Obviously, it's a matter now that my theory or my strategy that I wanted to use is dead in the water. but Sludges will hopefully help keep that. You change it to, okay, using Sludges now, just trying to get some red tiles in the same spot. Big cascades, trying not to set their healers off. There's a lot of different things to consider. Let's just take that. I really kind of want to get their hitters set off so I can try to get some of that damage up on them without setting their healers off. And if we can get a cascade with some reds, then it kind of helps. You can steal a few kills, even though your original strategy may not have played out the way you wanted. Bloody mana boost. It's a good thing I wasn't actually trying to have a normal war here, because I feel these boards have been very, very terrible for me. And not much has gone my way. But that's the way wars roll sometimes. We'll take one red into that guy and hopefully kill him off. So there we go. At least we've achieved something. The original strategy doesn't fully work out. You've got some sort of backup plan, and you eke out what you can. Now, there's probably no point going from here. Don't want to yellow to come up here. Got one turn left. This is so frustrating when all you want to do is make a move, and it just takes so long to go through its process. Do you keep playing when you're in this position? Do you just get sick of it and think, nah, there's no point, I'm just going to cancel? Or do you flee to save their health? I'm obviously generally not going to win now, regardless of what happens. Very slim chance, but it's not very likely. Again, I'll probably fast forward this so you don't have to watch through and listen to me drill crap. Well, I just continue to fire. This is where I think the meta is headed more towards, and it has been for a while, but really making sure you can get the kills. Once some of these healers get going, especially if they've got mega minions and that sort of thing, it's just such a tough fight to get back into the game. So that was a look at the 4-1 straight up power kill, which totally failed, which is why I personally like to try to do some sort of counter at the same time. This is probably a more normal 4-1, where you're taking the 4 against the tank, but also have the power to get some kills. I've got a couple of mega minions here, which obviously help. But I've also thrown in, so it's not just about straight up damage. Dolores does follow up damage, so it's great to pair her with other yellows. Again, in some cases, her insanity becomes useless, because if you've got the killing power, you're going to kill them. But because they have a few minions, we are in minion war, they've got a good healer. It's that chance that, okay, even if I don't quite get the kills, then the insanity can then help me in that long run. I've also got a sniper here, so if I manage to get some tiles into someone and can't quite get the kills, then I've got a sniper to clean up, so to speak. And we've got Hathor just to give a bit of a mana boost and a heal. This is where, even though I didn't quite get those tiles, Hathor can come in extremely useful. She may not get everyone charged, and now this stupid moth dust. Mana. I don't mind if that box fires again. Love to get one more yellow. Oh, there goes my sniper. Don't abort the mission. So always fire Dolores first, as she is going to do follow-up hits. that dude is the lowest. Doesn't have many minions, so I'm going to target over here. Probably not a huge deal exactly where I focus, but with the follow-up hits from the mega minions, that... Why did he not... Is that because of the greed? Okay. I'm a bit confused as to why I didn't get mega minions then. Does he stop them? Okay. Steals minions or mega minions. Anyway, that's obviously classed as a positive effect. Wow. So many things to try and keep track of here. Just amazes me sometimes when things just don't quite happen the way you expect them to. I hope, even though with these types of wars I'm not scoring huge and I know this one was already over, but I do hope with my wars I try to either be entertaining / funny or do something funny with the team selection, or to be somewhat educational. So hopefully that does come across. As I said, if there's anything you want me to do, let me know. I do find it a bit boring just to do standard hits all the time. But if you're not getting anything out of this sort of stuff, then again, let me know, because I'm happy to change it up and see what else we can do. Seems to be getting harder and harder to fight back from a bad board. But again, I am taking different teams here. But yes, it's I discussed the, sort of that part of the game a lot with heroes, and I know there's power creep's got to be a thing, and I know countering, but it does just seem to slowly get a little harder week on week. It doesn't take long, and it's sort of, I was like, wow, it's a lot harder than it was like 2 months ago to fight back from a bad board. But that's the way we go. Sometimes we need to change our expectations, and rather than thinking, okay, we're going to get one hit all the time, it's making sure that you're playing your teams around maybe taking the tank out or just getting at least one guaranteed kill if you do get your heroes charged. On to the last fight. So my last one is a team that's based around tile damage. I could have put Gasteel in a purple stack. However, if you get him charged, the chances of then getting more purple are reasonably low to really take advantage of his extra damage and increased attack. So I've thrown him in with the green team to try and get him fired first, and then those green tiles, it doesn't matter who I'm going against, even though they've got 2 greens. I didn't need to take reds because with a 4 stack, once his attack damage gets added, those tiles are just going to be slicing through them. I've got a little bit of longevity with some healing there. I could have bought a couple of healers or boosters, but we've gone with one, so we'll see what happens. As I said, it's based around the tile damage. I mean, if I get tiles and these guys can still kill, which is why the healer has some damage as well. But it's wanting to get Gasteel fired first. Obviously, I can see that's not going to happen. So we then adjust and say, okay, we need to get the greens and we need to try and get our specials up, which I know is a very obvious thing to say. Look, I usually wouldn't drag that one to the right because it kind of means I'm left with, a green here, a green here, and a green here. If I move that down, then there is actually a chance of getting more greens at the bottom. But at the same time, I'm hoping to get some purples, and I can see if I do move this one to the right, I'm going to get the yellow cascade, and there's a chance of getting more greens anyway, but also purples. Hope all that made sense. Easy as 1, 2, 3. These bloody mega minions just kill you so quickly. Hopefully I can eke out a heal. I do not want to set Sartana off again. Of course, the fucking cascade doesn't care what I want. Wants to take out my healer. Yep, or the other one that's low on health. Of course it does. Now, I've got the chance. I'm going to take the heal, but I'm going to hold off on firing my other ones until I get Gasteel up as well, just to tie in with the original strategy of trying to get his attack up first. Now we can see where these tile damage comes in. Even though that did a lot of damage anyway and he's about to die, we're going to see this tile do humongous damage, like 3,000, with the defense down as well. So again, that didn't look great. I lost some heroes, but that strategy has then worked out in the end. Another healer probably would have been fantastic. But again, I'm just going through different methods of 4-1. Cannot stress that enough. There's many different ways to play 4-1, depending on your roster, depending on your playstyle, depending on the enemy that you're going against. You know, for anything slow, such as a Bernie, anything that doesn't have healing, you know, you might want to drag it out to make sure you stay alive long enough. Hope all that makes sense. As always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, gently press the subscribe button, give your kitty a scritch for me, and have a good one.